Sup, losers? Just kidding. You're not losers. Useless eaters. That's what we are. How you doing on this slave planet tonight? Chat says, oh, I thought I was clicking on disturbing illusion. Oops. This is a disturbing illusion. It is. Good to see you guys again. I've come to the realization that I suck at my job. I'm supposed to be what do they call me? A content creator. And then I go to these events and speaking engagements and things, and I don't create content. I just forget about video cameras. Antisocial social media. That's my favorite. Anyway, yeah, I had a great time at Cocoa Beach, Badlands Media Conference last weekend. Saw a couple of rockets take off, SpaceX rockets. Met a bunch of people, spoke, sold some supplements. It was a grand old time. Hey, on that note, I mean, honestly, if any of you guys are filmmakers or video producers and you're in any area I happen to be in, or heck, if you'd even be open to travel, I'll help comp it. I'd be open to bartering and trading, hiring somebody to hold a camera. I could use the help. Anyway, what are we going to talk about tonight? Epstein's emails. That's right. Oh, man. Crazy. Past couple of days. All these, I guess the Epstein files are starting to get released. But these ones came from the House Democrats, and they're trying to twist and contort these into being, of course, a Orange man bad, gotcha Trump, oh my God. But when you read into them, it's kind of backfiring. And some of these emails are pretty wild. What they're showing in regards to Epstein talking to New York Times reporters and naming a bunch of people is pretty nothing criminal per se. There's nothing criminal, but it's enlightening for sure. And I do think it's going to backfire. What else are we talking about? Oh, internet shills claiming MAGA is dead. Yeah. The 4 a.m. talking points went out on that one. Pretty clear. Hemp ban. I saw one of these comments asking about that. Hold up. It's not hemp. It's Delta 8. So which one is Delta 8? Asks. Just another Oglesby. I'll explain that when we get to the topic. Delta 8 is this form of psychoactive THC that some cannabis companies kind of have been using loopholes to produce and sell legally on the market. And basically that loophole is just closing. They're not banning CBD. They're banning Delta 8 THC. But some of the internet, and you know how influencers on the internet do, they will word things very badly and then get all sensationalist. And in regards to this topic, they're claiming hemp and CBD is being banned. It's not. It's just Delta 8. Zelensky scandal. Chemtrails go mainstream. Eric Swallowswell getting referred for criminal prosecution. And I don't know if you guys saw this one, but Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff got arrested. So, fun times in California.
Are you not entertained?
Fun times in California. Let me go through some of these comments and then we'll get to today's topics. What's up, Rumble? What's up, you guys over on Rumble? Donald, I see you, brother. Dal, Augustine. Some names I recognize. What's up, friends? Pilled Chat. Ham Solo. I dig that one. Ham Solo. I really wanted to be, for Halloween, Chewbacca. Found a really funny costume online to be Chewbacca. But, you know. Fever Flaves says there's more and more people having anxiety attacks on the Delta shit. Honestly, I like Delta 8. I've tried it before. I felt great on it. But I am very conscious with my usage of compounds and supplements and whatnot. I just used a very small amount. I would imagine the people having anxiety attacks are probably not very healthy in the first place, and then using too much, and then just not in a good place mentally in general, and it's probably given them panic attacks. But yeah, I like Delta 8, but I can totally understand why they are closing that loophole to ban it and regulate it. I get it. I wouldn't want that stuff being sold in gas stations and normal stores for kids to see and easily get a hold of. Thanks for explaining. Sounds unnatural. Delta 8 is not necessarily unnatural. It is found naturally in the cannabis plant, but it is synthesized into high potency products. So Delta 9 THC is what most people think of when they think of THC and marijuana. They get some high. That's Delta 9 THC. Delta 8 is similar. It's just molecularly a tiny bit different. It's also naturally occurring in cannabis, just in trace amounts. And it does have to be synthesized to make a full Delta 8 product. So it is natural, but the supplement products are kind of not. Is that a national ban? I think it is. Yes. I believe that is a national ban. But at the end of the day, cannabis itself should be rescheduled completely. Schedule 1, retarded. They should reschedule everything that is God's drugs. Anything that grows in the ground. Psilocybin, ibogaine, ayahuasca, cannabis, all Schedule 1 drugs. They should be, at most, Schedule 3. Emily asks, tell us about methylene blue. I'm a big fan of it. I've used it a few times. It's not for everybody. I'm not going to be one of those people telling you that you need this supplement or you need this diet. Everybody needs it to feel great. Some people don't do well on methylene blue. Some people freaking love it. Most people take it for focus and concentration. Some people take it every day. I don't. I only take it on long days where I need the extra mental charge. And I only take about a half dosing myself. Again, I don't really do full doses of anything anymore. But it is what it is. God's drugs without human manipulation? Yeah, that is one problem about marijuana these days, is that humans are hybridizing the shit out of it, making the THC content way too strong. Way too strong. So opioids are safe. Mushrooms. Toxicity is always dependent on the dosage. Anything can be toxic if you take too much of it. You can drink too much water and die. People have before. If you take a small amount of an opiate, it could be safe. They give special forces soldiers those fentanyl suckers in case they get shot in combat. Anything is just a tool. Just got to know how to use it properly. And of course, a lot of people out there don't use these tools properly. They use them for escape. All right. How old am I now? Old enough to party. My birthday is actually coming up, but I'm not going to tell you how old I am or what day it is. Okay, let's get into it. There's nothing I really want to promote tonight. No shameless self-promotion tonight, so let's just get into it. Speaking of me sucking at taking video, I do have this video from Gart, though. I did not take it, but we played some football on the beach. Super gay Top Gun style. Good times. I'm moving in slow motion. Feels so good. 4-on-4. Okay. I've got the ripped shirt there. So that's my touchdown run that they called out of bounds. And we never established any out of bounds. And there's my touchdown throw. As CanCon sends here, CanCon says, that was pretty damn fun. Might have to be a Gart regular. Next time, we need an out of bounds. That way, it's the same for both teams. Tags me, because they called my little touchdown run there out of bounds. Look at that. Oh, that wasn't the run. John got me on that one. Anyway, it was fun. Aurora. Let's talk for a minute about the Aurora. Did you guys see it? A couple nights ago? I did not. Cloud cover. But I know the upper Midwest, North Dakota, Montana, a bunch of people out there saw it. Away from the light pollution, clear skies. Man, some people as far south as like Florida were seeing it. I saw reports of. Pretty crazy. X-class solar flare goes off. And we're going to get the Aurora from it. Also, I saw a few power grid issues around the world. Nothing really in the States or the Western countries. Our grids are a little more resilient. But I saw that the Dominican Republic had a pretty big power grid fail. And Australia had some new battery plant that just went online. And it was having some issues. But other than that, all my technology gadgets were doing okay. I haven't been sleeping well this week. I'll tell you that much. And I've seen a lot of people out there with testimony that they have not been sleeping well and migraines. And yes, so large solar emissions, geomagnetic disturbances have effects. A lot of effects, not just atmospheric, aurora, not just infrastructure, power grid, technology, wires, anything electric, but also mind-body effects. So yes, magnetic fluctuations do affect our brains and bodies. So make note of that. Mood, sleep, general energy levels, focus, concentration. Granted, you could just be unhealthy and dehydrated, but magnetic disturbances can play a part in any effects. My favorite Aurora conspiracy theory, and by my favorite, I mean an absolutely retarded one, is that auroras are being caused by nukes in the sky. I actually like this guy's account. He seems okay, but, you know, not everybody gets everything right. This guy's theory is that these auroras weren't caused by the sun. It was nukes and HARP. And I was arguing with this guy, too. I'm like, auroras are natural. He says you can create them artificially. And I said, how exactly would they create global aurora artificially? Keyword global. What does he say? Besides HARP, who have already done it in the past, detonating nukes in the atmosphere can also cause auroras. Where you been? I said we can track solar emissions in real time. My favorite website for that here, let me show you real quick, is actually called solarham.com. I really like this website for tracking space weather. It shows you real-time updates of geomagnetic forecast for 3 days, solar flare detection. This will show you up to the minute solar flares, what's going on, what kind of radio emissions that our atmosphere is taking, along with X-rays. I know it's a super complex looking website because it is. There's a lot of data on here, but once you kind of get the hang of it, you can see what kind of coronal holes are facing the Earth, what solar flares pop off, yada, yada. Anyway, you can track what's going on with the sun. So I said, if there was no X-class solar flare and we had aurora, then it would be logical to entertain other theories. In this case, we see a clear cause and effect. And he was trying to say it was a nuke. I said, pretty neat little nuke picture, but how widespread were those effects from the nuke? Global or a 50 square mile radius? It's kind of dumb. A lot of dumb conspiracies out there, right? Solar ham? I like stellar bacon better. Stellar bacon. It's a good screen name. Space Weather Live is a great website too. Let me check that one out. I don't know if I've ever... Oh yeah, this one looks neat. Space Weather Live. Except for the ads on it, but... Neato. I like pictures, though. This one gives me more pictures. It's wild, right? I noticed it was a lot of the aurora is fake people are also flat earthers. So, sorry flat earthers in the chat, but it's not flat. Shit spins. Hate to burst your round bubble. Epstein, okay. So, was this 2 days ago or yesterday? I forget. Oh my gosh, look who reported this. Caitlin Collins. Epstein mentioned Trump multiple times in private emails, new release shows. House Democrats released emails yesterday, and they obtained them after subpoenaing Epstein's estate earlier this year. I'm pretty sure it was Michael Wolff who gave a lot of these emails over, I want to say. If it wasn't Michael Wolff, he definitely was authoring some of them. If you don't remember who Michael Wolff was, that is this creepazoid who has written multiple anti-Trump books. I remember his book that came out in 2018, Fire and Fury Inside the White House. And then I think he got cease and desist orders over that one because there was a shitload of slander in it. It was a big drama at the time, back in 2018. That's Michael Wolff. So I don't know if he's the one that gave the Epstein emails over, but he was definitely emailing with Epstein on some of them. And Michael Wolff released this video on his Instagram account earlier this morning talking about the emails. I have not actually watched this. Let's watch it together.
This morning, the House Oversight Committee released emails directly linking Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And in fact, some of those emails are are between Epstein and me, with Epstein discussing his relationship with Donald Trump.
Okay. There was only like 4 emails that mentioned Trump. Of the, I don't exactly know how many emails have been put out, but I've seen dozens of them. How many do we have in total? I mean, this is... So CNN links a document cloud with just 3 emails. That's not the whole drop, though. I'll have to go find the whole thing. But CNN is only reporting on 3 of them that mention Trump. Baldy Michael Wolf here is only talking about Trump. It's hilarious and obvious how they are making this into an Orange Man bad op. Let's finish this video.
I have been trying to talk about this story for a very long time now. And this is, well, perhaps we're getting close to the smoking gun. These 2 men, Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump, had the closest of relationships for more than a decade. They shared everything. They shared their airplanes. They shared women between them. They shared constantly business and financial advice. You know, it's curious that...
How many child-sized skeletons do you think this guy has in his closet? Which is why he is probably freaking out right now. I imagine he's going to get hit with a lawsuit for something soon.
Epstein's relationship with so many people in public life has damaged them considerably. But the one person who he was closest to has not been held accountable. That's Donald Trump. I released tapes of Epstein talking about this relationship before the election to really little effect. But I think the fact that this is now foursquare on the agenda, Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein, is exactly where this should be. That is the question. What was Donald Trump's relationship?
You know, that's just like your opinion, man.
See this guy? Number 1 bullshit guy.
Relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. What's the nature of that relationship? What did they do together? And anything, I think, that can bring us closer to an answer to that question is central to our time. Now, I think, as most of you know, I have commenced this lawsuit against Melania Trump, and I think that will...
I mean, just look at the way he sits, and he's wearing corduroy pants. He is definitely a bottom. Let's check out some of these emails. This was the one that CNN put in their article. And as you can see, loads of accounts on Twitter. This one, 12 million views, 100,000 likes, 10,000 bookmarks on this one. They claim, Jeffrey Epstein alleged Donald Trump spent hours with a sex trafficking victim in new email from 2011 released by House Democrats. Oh no, if you actually read the email, though. Let's see. From Jeffrey Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell. It says, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. Victim, redacted, mind you, victim spent hours at my house with him. He has never once been mentioned, police chief, etc. Let's read between the lines, guys. First off, why did they redact that victim's name? Because that victim is Virginia Giuffre, who in her testimony totally exonerated Trump and said no, he was never involved in anything sexual or didn't abuse girls or nothing. No wonder they redacted her name from this email, because that would have shown this email to be a nothing burger. So they redacted her name to make it sound all bad. Oh my gosh. Trump was at Epstein's house with a female. But that first sentence there says, I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump. The dog that hasn't barked? It's like they're trying to set him up. They're trying to get blackmail on him. The dog that hasn't barked. He hasn't. It's like it's almost like they're figuring out or starting to put the pieces together. Epstein and Maxwell. It's like they're starting to put the pieces together that Trump might be an informant on them. Trump's never been mentioned. He hasn't barked. What? Oh, they're trying to rope him in, but he's not biting. He's not biting. He's not barking. That's what I'm taking from this. You know, couple that with, wasn't it like just a month, 2 months ago, where Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, had a hot mic moment where he said essentially Trump was an informant. Yeah, here we go. Then I think he backtracked real quick on this clip, but here we go. Speaker of the House Mike Johnson claims Trump was an FBI informant to take down Epstein.
He's not saying that what Epstein did is a hoax. It's a terrible, unspeakable evil. He believes that himself. When he first heard the rumor, he kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago. He was an FBI informant to try to take this stuff down. The president knows and has great sympathy for the women who have suffered these unspeakable harms. It's detestable to him.
Can't hear that for shit, but that's what Mike Johnson said. Here we are 2 months later, and we got these emails that sure make it look like it. Let's see. This is a post I made on these emails. First point, convenient. They've waited all these years to get and publish these emails. They've waited all these years. Seeing as Epstein was apparently emailing with Michael Wolff, who's been writing anti-Trump books for years. Wolff didn't provide these before. Why didn't Michael Wolff write a book on these before? The dog that hasn't barked line. Another email shows New York Times reporters tipping off Jeffrey Epstein that he's being investigated. Landon Thomas Jr. emails Epstein and says he's digging around again. Not clear if it's for a book or what. Was asking me all sorts of questions about why you hired Ken Starr. Told him I had no idea. I think he's doing some Trump digging too. Interesting. That seems like it should be pretty big. But CNN didn't put that in their article. One email claims Epstein wrote, Bill Clinton never went to the island. I had the thought, are these emails even real? They seem real. My first thought was like, what? Maybe some of these emails are freaking fake, mixed in with real emails. Could be. Or Jeffrey Epstein was writing these emails knowing that people were watching or someday people could find them. So he might have been writing these emails, putting disinfo into them. Assuming investigators were looking or the public would someday see them. So when Trump says it's a Democrat hoax, maybe he's right. Maybe there's disinfo planted or written into the Epstein emails or Epstein files. Something to make note of. Anyway, here's a few other of the emails. Larry Summers asks Jeffrey Epstein if Trump uses cocaine. And Epstein responds by asking if he can get a private Harvard tour for a Rothschild. This was in 2016. This was a month before the election, when they all assumed Hillary Clinton was going to win, right? Larry Summers. How plausible is idea that Trump is real cocaine user? If these emails are real, these guys write these emails like English is their fifth language. They write these emails like they're retarded. Or they're fabricated emails, and they might have had somebody from India fabricate them. How plausible is idea? Can Somoine from the development office show Rothschild around Harvard sat? Yes, let's briefly discuss. Can you have her write me? Harvard guy. Great English for Mr. Harvard Larry Summers. This is my favorite part of all of it. The Democrats on the Twitter are really going to town on this, trying to paint Trump as big bad guy. Newly released emails show Jeffrey Epstein thought Trump was one of the worst people he knew, with, quote, not one decent cell in his body. Epstein went on to describe Trump with one word, dangerous. Wait.
What?
Are the Democrats siding with Jeffrey Epstein now? Are they? Is this where we're at, guys? I'll get to the comments in a moment. I'm seeing some funny ones roll in. Newly released emails show Epstein thought Trump was bad guy. Is this real life, guys? Here's another email from Michael Wolff. Looked like he was basically advising Jeffrey Epstein on how to blackmail Trump. Oh, and here's a tweet and delete that the Democrat account made. They wrote, new documents show Trump spent Thanksgiving with Jeffrey Epstein in 2017. At the time, Trump was already president, and Epstein was already a convicted sex offender. That is not what that email says at all. Looks like some chick named Faith just sent an email to Epstein asking, where are you having Thanksgiving? They deleted that one real quick. Then we got Representative Tim Burchett out here saying that he's trying to expedite the release of the Epstein files, but the Democrats blocked the motion.
Left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent, of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now, here they've had it for 4 years, and they, obviously, if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, let's get it out, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. They blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. I mean, it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And
it's all performative. That's all this is. Congress, the Democrats, and some of those rhino shill Republicans, they have some of those Epstein files. They have these Epstein emails. They're carefully curating what they release to the public so they can make it look like Trump was involved. They're saying, oh, let's put all the files out there. But when it comes to actually doing it, they won't. Or they're just so dumb and they actually think that Trump's so involved that they're going to vote to release them. And it turns out the full breadth of the Epstein files show no Trump, but show Bill Clinton and Bill Gates and creepy Stephen Hawking all involved. Remember Stephen Hawking? Wheelchair physicist. Went to Epstein's Island. People forget about that one. Yes, dance for me. All right, sorry, guys. I get distracted. Appreciate the Rumble rant, Trumper. Hey, Jordan, I just solved the dark matter issue on X at Lacto Bruce Willis. You got me with that one. Lacto Bruce Willis. That's funny. All right, let me scroll through some of these comments. Graham M. said he can help me with some video editing and filming. That's awesome, dude. First of all, it's funny to me how I've got these mods on YouTube. I'm sorry, I don't remember who any of you guys are. I probably set you up as a mod on my YouTube channel like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. Then I didn't have my channel for 5 years, and I get back online, and I've got all these mods, which is cool that you're still a mod, actually. That's awesome. No, yeah, if you're open for any video editing or video recording work, shoot me a DM somewhere. Instagram or Twitter are the best places to DM me. If you DM me on Telegram, I won't see it. I was commenting while that video was playing, and people didn't think it was me because they couldn't see my hands. That's because the keyboard's down here, bro. Yes, but the real question is, am I wearing pants? That you'll never know. That's why I love this job. All I need to do is wear a shirt. I guess I don't really have to do that if I didn't want to. Should I try to get my old Twitter account back? Of course you should. People asking me if I mess with David Wilcock. No, I do not. Yes, I agree. He is a Looney Tune these days. I wiped my nose after reading Real Cocaine User. Am I the only one who saw that? Please don't chat ban me. I thought it was funny. Did I? Want to buy some crack? It's just the allergies. It's just the change in seasons. Hurting my sinuses. No. I'll be honest with you guys. I tried cocaine once in my life. College days. Long time ago. Miserable experience. One and done. Never did it again. I'm like, this shit ain't for me. It's horrible. Dal, on your own time, your thoughts on interstellar time travel involving portals or bent space. I'm going to screenshot that and get back to that comment during Q&A at the end. Appreciate that, Dal. Oh my God. Chad asks, how's Phil Fraudlewski doing? Not too good, from what I understand. I think he got caught sexting again and had some dick pics leaked. But I haven't caught up on the scammers lately. Red Pill 78 is also back on YouTube. Liz Crokin, she was one of the first to get her channels back. I saw Red Pill 78 is back. iPot back on YouTube. Is X22 back? Cool. Good. And YouTube likes me now at the top of suggested videos. Algorithms being friendly. That is nice. Cool. So we're done talking about the Epstein emails. Almost. Calls to release all Epstein files grow as White House says messages about Trump prove nothing. This is just some reverse psychology. That's what I'm seeing here. Reverse psychology. Trump is baiting them, just calling it a Democrat hoax. Proves nothing. By Trump denying it, it's making the Democrats think, oh, he must be guilty. So the Democrats are saying, let's release everything. We're going to vote for it. I guess they are voting for it next week. So they're going to vote to release all these files. Be careful what you wish for. It'll turn out that, oh no, it's actually Bill Clinton named 1 billion times in these. And former Israel Prime Minister Ehud Barak, Bill Gates. Yeah, it's going to be a bad day. Bad day for them when they actually release these things. And or these Epstein files will come out and there'll just be a shitload of disinfo in it. We'll see. Exciting times. Did you guys see the script? The script come out over the past 24 hours? The copy and paste squad. MAGA is dead, say the feds. All right, who all do I recognize here? Your non-central is basically Antifa. So, there's that. I've seen some posts from this Morgan Ariel account. She's like one of those tradcons. I call these kinds of chicks thought-servatives. They just post narcissistic pictures of their face to get simp followers, and then she's basically like a Hitler lover also. Oh, you got Nick Fuentes on there. I'm sorry, guys. I don't like Nick Fuentes. He is just a rage-baiting, edgelord, arrogant little prick who really doesn't offer anything. He doesn't offer any education, any inspiration. People just watch him for entertainment because he's edgy, when really he's quite the idiot. And if you go back through some of his historical work, he says some really fucked up shit. He's a little Twinkie. But he's creating this little Groyper cult around himself, right? And his ideology is, of course, anti-Jew, anti-Zionist ideology. But he's creating this little cult around himself. And I've noticed a lot of these accounts are Groyper, Nick Fuentes lovers. Like, I think she is, that Morgan thought-servative chick. A couple of these accounts are also Fuentes fanboys. Oh, this chick here, the Patriotic Blonde. She's another thought-servative. So I hadn't ever seen her account or a post from hers until like 2 weeks ago. And all of a sudden, I was seeing her stuff on Instagram, on Twitter. She just blew up. I think she might be a Fuentes fangirl, but not the smartest tool in the shed. A tool, nonetheless, but not the smartest one. Not the brightest bulb in the bunch, these people. And here's the thing, is that they're trying to funnel you into two camps. Either you're diehard pro-Israel, no matter how much corruption's in that government, in that country, or you must be a Fuentes follower because you're questioning Israel. I can do both. I can think that Nick Fuentes and Stu Peters and a lot of these idiots are controlled op retards. And I can also think that there's a shitload of corruption in the country of Israel. You can do both at the same time. But, I mean, it's like the oversimplistic, lazy thinking. I'll be out here criticizing Nick Fuentes, and then people will say, oh, you must be a Zionist shill. Or you'll be out here exposing some nonsense from Netanyahu, and they'll say, oh, you must be an anti-Semitic groiper. It's perfect. It's the perfect psyop. I mean, why would Mossad not be controlling the groiper opposition? You prop up Nick Fuentes in this group of blame the Jew people. So as soon as people start questioning Israel, they get funneled into these influencers that are amplified. And then it gives Israel more of a justification to play victim and claim everybody criticizing us is anti-Semitic. You see? Classic divide, conquer strategy. Do I listen to Candace? Not really. No. I'll be honest. After Candace Owens' whole RFK Jr. is being blackmailed by Israel with the sex tape thing she did with Ian Carroll. Remember that stunt earlier this year? They claimed they saw all this evidence and then just stopped talking about it and moved on. That was a mess. And then these days, Candace Owens, you know, if you listen closely, she's smart. She talks a good game, but she flip-flops every so often. And then Candace Owens will tell these little white lies to make herself seem more virtuous and righteous than she really is. I don't know if I'd classify Candace Owens in the shill box, but I would say there's probably some narcissistic personality disorder there. And it's usually those kinds of influencers that get really big followings because they know how to manipulate the emotions of their followers. Yeah, Candace Owens, she reminds me of just like a high school mean girl. Full of drama. And that's a big thing with a lot of these anti-Zionist Jew man bad people is they don't offer solutions. They just complain, blame the Jews. They blame everything on the Jews without specifics. Okay, which Jew? Not all Jews are bad. Which ones? And what exactly did they do? Give us some investigations. Give us some solid reporting. But so much of it is just, oh, it's the Jews or it's rumor. Candace Owens is full of rumor, right? Rumor mill. Does Candace even live in this country anymore? Doesn't she live in Britain now or something? I know she's dating or married to that British guy. Wealthy aristocrat. So, it's like, yeah, okay. Some Jews are evil. Not all Jews are evil. But some Muslims are evil, but not all Muslims are evil. And yeah, there's some evil Christians out there, but not all Christians are evil. And some evil people don't even have a freaking religion. Why are you making it about ideologies? That just muddies the waters. Let's name a name and say exactly what they did. Chat says, I'm out, you're an idiot. See ya. Oh, I like this comment. Like George Carlin said, it's a big club and you ain't in it. I got a present for you. Actually, I have a button for you.
It's a big club, and you ain't in it.
Yeah, that's on my soundboard. Stu Peters is a mess. Yes, he is. I remember when that wannabe rapper, ex-bounty hunter, first hit the podcast circuit back in, it was like January 2021. Actually, it was really interesting because Stu Peters was a no-name. Started this podcast back when he had Red Voice Media, and then within a few weeks, primetime Alex Jones was featuring him. Which is why I wonder if some of these Groyper-esque, some of these influencers in this network are propped up by either InfoWars or whoever handles, like whatever producers are behind InfoWars. I have a sneaky suspicion Stu Peters definitely is. I mean, how do you go from no-name podcaster to primetime Alex Jones segments in T-minus 3 weeks? And then, right after that is when Stu Peters became butt buddies with Lynn Wood, and they were shilling all over the place. Stu Peters was shilling against General Flynn and Marjorie Taylor Greene and Rick Grinnell, like everybody. That was before Stu Peters became full-on Hitler. That was around the time of the Venom Water, his Venom Water documentary. Stu Peters was going full flat earther. And then after like a year or two, Stu Peters went full Hitler fanboy. What about Ben Shapiro, the Vax pusher? Yeah, screw that guy. Ben Shapiro and Nick Fuentes both suck. I would say who would win in a fight, Ben Shapiro or Nick Fuentes, but they would both try to punch each other and both of their wrists would break. Nick Fuentes also went full Ray Epps on January 6th, and it was memory hold. I don't doubt that. Well, Nick Fuentes, didn't he get his start back in 2017 during the Charlottesville thing? And that's how he started getting popular? He went to the whole Charlottesville thing, whatever happened there. What do I think of Redacted? I have not watched enough Redacted to have a confident opinion on it, but I will say some of the guests that I've seen on Redacted are highly questionable. Alex Jones is fun to listen to. Yeah, I don't know. He kind of makes my ears bleed. If you're just looking for entertainment, sure. But if you're looking for education, there's better sources. Nick Fuentes attended Charlottesville, did a show with James Alsup. He also appeared as a guest on Stefan Molyneux's show back then. Okay, I really wasn't into like mainstream conservative stuff that was going on back then, so I don't know the history that well. back in the 2017, 2018 days, I was really into UFO movement and doing Q. So I don't know a lot of that mainstream conservative backstory. But speaking of which, I mean, if we're talking about artificial amplification as well, does it not seem that this whole Groyper squad, Nick Fuentes, even Stu Peters, a lot of these influencers have a lot of artificial amplification behind them? Engagement, likes, views, sock puppet accounts promoting their content. I see a lot of sock puppet accounts promoting Fuentes, Peters, a lot of this crap. Yeah, I know I wouldn't classify James Alsop as mainstream conservatism, but whatever you want to call that subgroup or niche. I guess when I say mainstream conservatism, I view it as like there's an alternative of the mainstream, you see? So you got a lot of people moving away from mainstream media, but they're getting roped into this sort of mainstream contingent of alternative media. Do you understand what I'm saying? I might be able to find better words to frame that, but you get what I'm saying. There's like a mainstream of alt media. And great comment I saw here earlier by SC Sanka. When you realize the alternative media is just as controlled as mainstream media, if not more. Exactly. In fact, would it not be in the deep state's best interest to control alternative media more than the mainstream media? Because they already have the mainstream media controlled. They've been controlling that shit for 50, 60 years. And all the people watching and believing CNN, they're not a threat. The bigger threat are the people who are starting to wake up. So the deep state, the powers that be, would probably expend more resources to control and compromise alt media than they would mainstream media. Got a rant here. Thanks, Termper. Hey, Jordan, would you do me the honors of plugging my dark matter equals zero solution into Grok to see for yourself at Lacto Bruce Willis? Yes, I will do that simply because I love that handle. That's hilarious. For those of you unaware, that is a play on words of a strain of probiotic. There's a strain of bacteria called lactobacillus that is in a lot of probiotic supplements and found in fermented food product. I am very familiar with lactobacillus. I have never heard the Lacto Bruce Willis pun. That's why I'm dying so hard over here. Yeah, drop a link in the chat and I'll plug it in a bit. We got some more tabs to go through. I'm talking a lot in this one tonight. Sorry, guys. We're having fun, though. Why do I think they're letting people back on YouTube? I think that was a part of Trump's settlement with Google. There was probably a backdoor deal done between Trump and Google where Trump said, hey, I'll go easy on you guys, but you got to do this. Let people back on. So that's what I think happened. What's my supplement site? Says SC Sanka. I didn't want to do any shameless self-promotion, but if you asked. ConsciousStrength.net. I'll drop it in the chat. It's in the description underneath the video, too. Go check that out. I'm also redoing the website right now, so it'll look a lot different soon. All right, sweet. I will check out your dark matter thread later. MAGA is dead, say the NPCs. "4 a.m. talking points." Just like the mainstream media, right? Back to that point. Mainstream media gets their 4 a.m. talking points. There you go. All within an hour of each other. They just want to be in the cool social club, don't they? They're just social climbers. I mean, look at her. She is definitely a social climber. As is her. Our friend Morgan. Yornon Central is Antifa account. So it's the meme. It's the meme. Antifa. Groypers. I'm done talking about this shit. Hemp product ban. Whatever website this is, Cannabis Business Times, they actually described it quite well. Intoxicating hemp product ban included in deal to reopen government. This was a little section put in the appropriations bill to ban Delta 8. Some of these influencers, like this guy, Evan Kilgore, he's one of those Jew man bad influencers. I've been noticing that with this guy. He's one of those anti-Israel shills. He makes this crybaby post. The hemp provision in the appropriations package will destory. It will destory my family's livelihood overnight. It will destory my livelihood and the livelihoods of our employees. It will destory a $20 billion industry that many Americans rely on as an alternative to Big Pharma. We have 2 businesses that have done everything legally to the books for a decade now. The hemp provision. Well, first off, specifics, man. Details. How? How will it destory your livelihood and the livelihoods of your employees? I don't see a website linked in his bio or anything, so I have no idea what website or business he's talking about. But apparently he has employees. If you actually go read the bill, bro, it literally says the only hemp they're giving a shit about is anything that has more than 0.3% THC in the cannabis. Exclusions. Any viable seeds from a cannabis sativa plant that exceeds THC concentration of 0.3% in the plant on a dry weight basis. Which is what the law already was. You see, in the 2018 Farm Bill Trump passed, it specifically stated Delta 9 THC, which is the common form of THC that's in the marijuana that people take to smoke high. People take to smoke high? People smoke to get high. All right. The Farm Bill specified Delta 9 THC. There's other kinds of THC like Delta 8 THC. The Farm Bill didn't specify that. So because of the Farm Bill not specifying that, that's how some of these cannabis producers worked that little loophole to bring Delta 8 THC out to market unregulated. So they were selling it in states where recreational, Jesus, it's like I just smoked pot before talking. Recreational cannabis. That's why I'm having such a tough time saying it. Recreational cannabis. Pot. Legal pot. So Delta 8 THC could be sold in states like Florida and Texas and elsewhere, even where legal pot is not legal. Pot is illegal. And I mean, I don't want Delta 8 being sold at gas stations and places where, you know, like young kids see it and they pay some homeless dude to go in and buy it for them. And I'm okay with Delta 8 being regulated, but that's the only issue with this hemp bill. They're just basically rewording it so Delta 8 is also illegal and regulated. That's it. Mainstream media specifies it. Talks about the Delta 8. This hemp provision in the appropriations bill just closes the loopholes, such as the derivatives loophole, which allowed Delta 8 to be sold at convenience stores, gas stations, and online platforms. So there's also other derivatives of THC like Delta 10, THCA. There's another one called THCP. So it's just closing those loopholes. I would venture to guess that... Oh, I'm not showing the screen, my bad. I would venture to guess that Trump will probably reschedule marijuana next year to a Schedule 3. I think that'll happen. Trump will do it. Liberals will freak out. Conservatives will freak out. Conservatives will say, but marijuana makes the black men rape the white women, And then the liberals will go through their mental gymnastics. Orange man bad. Legalize the pot. Not a Republican. How could he? How could he do something I support? And it will be funny, and I will laugh. One more thing on the marijuana. Ron DeSantis here with an L. We got to give him an L for this one. Sorry, Ronnie, but you got it wrong. He replied to a comment that... God, I'm not showing the screen again. Ronnie DeSantis replied to a comment that said, legalizing marijuana could probably eliminate property taxes, meaning everyday sales tax would not need to be increased or increased a lot less. Ron DeSantis says, well, that has not been the experience in Colorado. The tax revenue from marijuana sales has fallen dramatically in recent years, largely because imposing taxes makes the black market marijuana more economical. Hence why states like Colorado have seen an increase in the black market, not an elimination of it. I'll say from my experience, growing up in a state or used to live in a state, Washington, that had legal marijuana, legal pot did not make, or black market marijuana was not cheaper than legal pot. I ran the numbers for how much tax revenue Washington State gets per year. It averages about $500 million. And it has gone down a little bit over the last 4 or 5 years. It topped out in 2021, $555 million. Yeah, it's down about 20%. So the trend is fading a bit. But the thing is, here's what's going on. My opinion. Both liberals and conservatives are idiots when it comes to legalizing marijuana. Both of them. Which camp are you in? Hopefully neither. So the reason I say that is because the way that these liberal states are legalizing marijuana is totally ass backwards. Completely ass backwards. They're putting their tax revenue into social welfare programs, I know Washington State is doing that. So most of that tax revenue is going to universal health care for illegals, crap like that. A good portion of it. And these liberal states, most of them, are decriminalizing the illegal growing of marijuana, which is incentivizing cartels and Chinamen to come in and set up illegal grow ops that use nasty, harsh chemicals. And then these illegal grow ops, the cartel and the Chinamen, will wash that black market weed into the legal market. So you get maybe some good pure pot mixed in with garbage shit pot products on the legal market. And then there's the issue of how I believe there should be a cap on the THC content in the flower. Kind of like how there's special licensing and all that you need to go through to get stronger liquor. You know, beer and wine has certain licenses. If you want to sell spirits, 80 proof, you have to get special licenses for those. And you can't make over a certain proof of liquor to sell on the open market. I think it should be like that with pot. Cap it at like 20% THC. Tops. Some pot on the market these days is 30% THC. It's getting way too strong. Humans are just hybridizing it to be way too strong. Anyway, many ways these liberal states are legalizing marijuana is ass backwards. They could be doing so much better. And then the conservatives will create a straw man argument. And they'll say, oh, look at this state like Colorado or California. It's gone to shit with legal marijuana. We should keep it illegal. No, you're pointing to a terrible example. You're pointing to a terrible example. There's a straw man argument. If you're for freedom and you're all for alcohol being legal, then and nicotine, then you should not be hypocritical and be for this other plant being legal. So that's my rant on legal pot. I'm for it being legal, but the way it's been legalized in so many of these states is dumb. And a lot of the arguments that the conservatives have against marijuana is also dumb. Grow your own, man. Ideally, people would. That's the best way to get it. Shoot, hemp grows so fast. You can get so much flower from one plant. That's all a person needs, one plant, and it could produce them plenty for a long time. But yes, the THC content in most pot is way too high. Way too high. I've seen like 30% in these stores. And then dabs, man. I don't think dabs should be legal. Those hardcore extracts. I tried to dab once, like 20 years ago. Like 15 years ago. And nope, never again. Horrible experience. My stance on gummies, they're okay. I don't really like gummies because it's tough to dose. I actually prefer tinctures because it's a lot easier to get half a serving. It's tougher to eat half a gummy because you're like this. I like tinctures the best, honestly. Because if I want a half serving. If I just want a tiny wee little bit, I just boop, drop. And it's essentially edible form. And then most of the food products they make, edible food products, have just a bunch of corn and soy and artificial food colorings and crap in them too, so. But I made my own butter once upon a time. That was fun. I'm not really a fan of edibles, honestly, but I do like the tinctures. That is one of my preferred forms of ingestion. I don't like smoking as much anymore, every so often. But when I do, it's spliff. Half tobacco, half devil's lettuce. American Spirit only. Cool. Oh yeah, mycology. I'm a big fan of mycology. What else are we getting into? Eric Swallowswell is been referred to the DOJ for potential criminal charges after evidence of mortgage fraud was found by FHFA Chair Bill Pulte. Swalwell not only committed mortgage fraud, he deemed himself ineligible to be a member of Congress as he declared his D.C. residence his primary residence. No public record searches show a home owned or leased by Swalwell in California. Members of Congress are required under Article 1, Section 2 of the Constitution to be inhabitants of the state they represent at the time of their election. Swalwell was not and is not an inhabitant of California, it seems. Fang, why you do this?
Donald Trump don't trust China. China is asshole.
Wah. Also breaking, Gavin Newsom's former chief of staff was just arrested by the FBI and charged with bank fraud, wire fraud, and conspiracy to defraud the United States, which include funneling campaign money for personal use. Mind you, this investigation began in 2022. Isn't that interesting? Let your mind connect some dots with that one. The FBI actually started this investigation while Chris Wray was the head of it, and Joe Biden was president. Can I get some devolution in the chat? Devo vibes? Devo vibes? Couple interesting data points with that one. Also, Zelensky is not having a good day. Western media begins damage control after $100 million corruption scandal rocks Ukraine. A little bit more on that. 2 days ago, Zelensky smirked into the cameras and said he wasn't afraid of Trump. Hours later, his palace was swarmed by Ukraine's anti-corruption agency. His billionaire godfather fled. His justice minister fell. What came next wasn't a rumor or a Russian op. It was The Spectator, Britain's establishment mouthpiece, publishing a headline that read, "The scandal that could bring down Vladimir Zelensky." The loot, a solid gold toilet, was among the lavish prizes uncovered in raids linked to Timur Mindixel, Zelensky's childhood friend, business partner, and longtime bagman. Cupboards stuffed with 200 euro bills, lavish real estate deals, kickbacks from $100 million in fortification contracts tied to Ukraine's energy czar. Mindik, co-owner of Zelensky's Vartal 95 studio, birthday party host, wartime drone contractor, is now gone. Fled the country just hours before the raids. This isn't just about one shady oligarch. The justice minister himself, German Galushenko, has resigned under pressure. The move sparked the first mass protest in Kyiv since the war began. Full-scale internal war going on in Ukraine. Between Western interests and Zelensky-aligned groups. Pretty nutso. What else do I have to discuss? Two more. Oh, one more thing. This is the only important thing. Last article is not important. Dane Wigington on Tucker Carlson. That's pretty sweet. That's a doozy that Tucker Carlson's going there. My thoughts on Dane Wigington. Well, check this out. Once upon a time, I interviewed him. There's me and Dane back in 2018. 7 years ago. Almost 8 years ago. This was when I was producing Above Majestic. I drove down to Redding, California, and stayed there for a few days. I interviewed Dane Wigington and actually Mark McCandlish. Rest in peace, Mark. Mark McCandlish when I was down there. Dane Wigington, solid dude. He's smart. He's smart. He's intense. And he genuinely believes what he's talking about. He's got a lot of... He has a lot of information. Now... The only thing is the extrapolations that Dane does from his information, I think sometimes go a bit far. I've been listening to Dane on and off. I don't listen to him a lot, but I've been aware of his work for like 15 years. And it's quite constant where in his videos he will claim that the climate's about to collapse. Our food supply is going to collapse. We're screwed. We're screwed. We're screwed. We only have so much time left. And it's the same sort of fear porning. Let's just call it that. It's same fear porn constantly. Similar to my opinions on Ben Davidson. I love Ben Davidson and his work. I listen to him often. And I like a lot of his takes. He's full of information. Intense, smart guy. But it's his extrapolations about the future, right? Earth's magnetic field's weakening. Solar micronova is imminent. We're all screwed. We're all doomed. Fear porny. They could be right. I'm not saying they're wrong. I don't know the future. But in that same vein, they also don't know the future. But I'll give it to them. Sometimes we do need those kinds of fear porny voices because it helps get people off their ass and into preparedness. It gets people into prepping. Gotta shock them awake a little bit. So, okay, go for it, Dane. Go for it, Ben Davidson. Shock some people into prepping. A little bit of that's okay, in my opinion. Although, I'm not going to be hiding in a bunker thinking the world's going to end tomorrow. Chat says, I've been following Dane for 10 years. I listen to his weekly podcast. Jordan, why would Dane pump fear porn? I don't know. He could genuinely believe what he says. I'm just telling you my opinion. Why would he pump fear porn? He probably doesn't believe it's fear porn. That's his genuine belief. And he could be right, but he could be wrong. I'm just telling you my opinion. How tall is Dane? Is he tall or am I short? I'm very average. I'm 5'10". I think Dane was like, yeah, he was a big dude. He's like 6'3", 6'4", maybe. I look like Benny in that pic. No, you take that back. You take that back. You take that back, or I'm going to ban you right now. I do not. You lie. Did I hike on Mount Shasta? No. I've been to Mount Shasta 3 times? 4 times? 3 times? Never hiked on it, though. At some points in the interview, he almost seemed nervous. I'd be nervous too if I was interviewing with Tucker Carlson. I think Dane was also on. I think he did a segment on Newsmax or News Nation, one of those. I want to say Newsmax last night. So props to him for getting the mainstream attention. Yep, I guess Zelensky had a golden shitter. Amazing. Try to interview Dane again. Yeah, I totally would. I'm trying to remember how I had his contact information. How did I get in contact with him? I forget. I'm just wondering if I still have his email or his number. All right, I promised what's his nuts that I would take a look at his dark matter thread here. So we got Lacto Bruce Willis. Oh, bro. I don't understand any of this. Here's your exact 513-bit G-code string. G-string code. The one we've used for NS dark matter taper, HFO2 doping, etc. Copy, paste, ready. I'm sorry, man. I don't know what I'm looking at. I'm just a useless eater, bro. Galaxy rotation curves, bullet cluster, baryonic offset via RAM pressure stripping, CMB power spectrum, early universe seeding. Whatever flavor of autism you have, I'd like to try some for a day. Grok it. Plug it in. Grok it. Okay. I'll grok it. I don't use Grok all that much. I'm not much of an AI guy. AI is just a tool. It's not going to kill us. AI is actually pretty stupid. And the leaning of AI or the helpfulness or resourcefulness of it, the angle it takes purely depends on the human programmer. And AI is only as good as the data set or the language that you train it with. So, even Grokopedia kind of sucks. But AI is not good for asking about controversial information. Do not ask AI about climate change or 9/11 or vaccines or Q or UFOs or whatever. It's just going to give you mainstream media bullshit. Whatever the idiots say on Reddit or Wikipedia is what ChatGPT and Grok will give you. But if you just need some simple data, like for instance, last weekend when I was at the Badlands conference, I was prepping for one of the panels and I had to do some research real quick. And I simply wanted to know the percentage of Americans who were woodworkers and fabric makers and manufactured things and fished for food and hunted for food in the 1940s versus today. And Grok was able to give me this information in like 60 seconds. Whereas it probably would have taken 20 minutes if I were to search it normally. Within 60 seconds, Grok said, boom. In the 1940s, 1.2% of households were fabric makers. Now it's like 0.3%. Twice as many people hunted for food and fished for food in the 1940s than they do today. So AI is great for simple things. Or math. Math or statistics. But then you still have to go through some critical thinking to assess, okay, where did Grok get this from? Or ChatGPT. Is whatever data it gave me reliable? Also, it's great for coding. I don't do any coding, but I'm working on redeveloping my supplement website right now. I'm moving websites and migrating from Squarespace to Shopify. The contractor I'm working with, helping me out with the website migration, he's trying to move all the product reviews. So I got, quite a few product reviews, probably in total, I don't know, a few hundred of them. Like 37 on that. 3 on that one. I think the greens has a few, 21. So I probably have a couple hundred product reviews. And without AI, he would have to do it one by one, copy and paste. It would take him multiple days to migrate all those product reviews over. But he was, with AI, able to just download a spreadsheet, have AI format that spreadsheet properly to be able to upload to the review plugin on the other website. And he got it all done in like a couple hours. So AI is an amazing tool to help speed up workflow and help process information. But you don't want to outsource your critical thinking to the AI. And that's what I'm seeing some people do, is they're outsourcing their critical thinking to AI. Just tell me what to think, AI. Just tell me what to think. And that's where it's dangerous. Garbage in, garbage out. You put garbage into the AI bot, you're going to get garbage out of it. Chat says you got kicked out of my Telegram chat for posting a link to Tulsi Gabbard. Let me know your screen name, and I'll check. Sometimes so on Telegram, I have a bot that will remove spam. And every blue moon, it'll remove an actual human it misidentifies as spam. So just let me know your screen name. I'll unban you. All matter matters. Matter lives matters. Dark matter matters. Any more topics for tonight? Probably not. I've been going for an hour and a half. But if there's anything else you want me to dig into, let me know. Drop a comment, drop in the chat. Just chop wood and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of bubble gum. My blonde girlfriend dyed her hair brunette, saying it was considered artificial intelligence. Thank you for the tip over there on Pilled, country girl. Sorry, YouTube squad. Can't do super chats. Demonetize on YouTube. Bummer. Hi, Emily. Gotta ask, who is the better racist between me and Cam and Cocoa Beach? Oh, I'm a way better racist. Way better. And it's only because I'm white. No, we actually didn't race each other. But we threw the football a lot. It was fun. We already had a couple drinks. We didn't want to do that. Hypothetically, would I lean on David Wilcock having psychosis or being possessed? Delusions of grandeur. Got it covered like my Waffle House hash browns. I've never been to a Waffle House. Oh, there was that space comment that Dal asked me. That's right. On my own time, my thoughts on interstellar time travel involving portals or bent space. The whole bending space and time thing, I don't think it doesn't really work that way. I think that's mainstream science thinkers trying to peer into the woo from their limited paradigms. If you come at it with the perception of all points in space and time are connected in a fabric-like manner, you're not bending space. You're just, you could say, moving from one point in space through time to another point in space instantaneously. Portals. Yeah, I could definitely entertain the idea that Stargate SG-1 was truth in plain sight, and that some kind of Stargate or portal system exists on planets in solar systems throughout the cosmos. If you look at ley lines of the planet Earth, it's almost as if these planets, these celestial objects, have energetic meridians, just like our bodies do. Energy flows through specific patterns are passed through our bodies. And I think it's similar with planets. So you look, there's different theoretical ley line maps out there for planet Earth. And it could be such that at specific nodes, intersections of ley lines, there are energetic hotspots at these nodes. And if you get the magnetism right, if there's just the right astrological alignments, the moon's in the right spot, the sun is maybe popping off some energy. If all the factors are right, maybe one of those hotspots or those nodes could open up, I guess you could say. Open up its own little portal or Stargate. Then maybe with the right craft or right equipment that us retard humans don't have yet, at least publicly, you can figure out how to traverse through that and end up at different points on the planet, or maybe another planet or another star system. So when a lot of these mainstream scientists, like for instance, I was listening to Jared Isaacman on Sean Ryan. Jared Isaacman, who is renominated for NASA administrator, he was on Sean Ryan's podcast 4 months ago. And I was listening to it this morning just to get a feel for the guy. I didn't know much about him. He seemed like a solid dude, somewhat open-minded, definitely well-intended, but still working from some limited paradigms in his own mind. And he was just assuming that the speed of light is a boundary, it's constant, nothing can go faster than that. It's, a law. And I don't think that's the case. I think faster than light travel is quite commonplace throughout our universe. We just don't have the instruments at the time to measure it. So you got a lot of these so-called great thinkers who assume, extraterrestrial life out there in the cosmos, there's no way they've been to planet Earth right now because the universe is just way too big. Yada, yada, yada. And that's an assumption. And I think that's a flawed assumption. If there's advanced extraterrestrial intelligence out there, you don't think they probably figured that out? And figured out how to go from point A to point B without having to go through space? They go point to point instantaneously. Dude, I'm sorry. Your Grok dark matter analysis thing it's still going. It's still going. If you want to help me out with a prompt, I don't know what to prompt with it. I just told Grok to explain this. Because I don't know what the hell I'm looking at. If you want to give me a better prompt, I can plug in. What up, Neo Tribal? Lots of fun tonight. Yeah, it was. I'll be streaming again tomorrow. Mornings on Pilled. Tomorrow night on all three. YouTube, Pilled, Rumble. I like this comment. Kaiser says, light does not travel. It's a rate of induction. God, I found a really good graphic one time that was showing our solar system moving, and then light was like the reaction of the celestial body's motion through the ether. And it wasn't light that was traveling, Light was just a byproduct of everything else traveling. The motion of everything else. I don't even know how to find that graphic or if I still have it anywhere. Interesting little picture I used to have. That's like a Walter Russell concept, right? Light does not travel, it's a rate of induction. That sounds very Walter Russell-y. I mean, gravity is faster than light, is it not? Instantaneous. Thought faster than light. Yeah, it's about time to go. Good night, y'all. And yo, Lacto Bruce Willis. You DM'd me a prompt? Okay, I'll plug it in. And I'll check it out, because Grok's still going for me, so. See what I can do. Thanks for hanging, guys. Oh, I forgot the music tonight. Oh, no. No. Now you tell me. Sorry, guys. My bad. Music tomorrow for sure. Blues Friday. But yeah, Pilled stream in the morning. All 3 at night. I can also resubmit them to review my channel since I've been allowed back. I can't. The reapply button in my YouTube studio is frozen because I got demonetized. My channel got demonetized in February 2020. And now it says you must reapply by May 2020. So I'm 5.5 years too late to reapply for monetization on my channel. Unless you know of a different way for me to reapply, but I don't know. And I need to rename my contact as either educational, investigative, or artistic so I could be monetized again. Because right now no advertisers are willing to post with you being such a narrative. I don't know. If you want to support, you can go to Patreon or Locals or something, but I don't know if I care all that much about YouTube monetization. It would be nice, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. So it is what it is. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow.